Hey everybody, Robert here. I hope everybody's having a good holiday season, especially in America, Whatever holiday you go for, hope you're enjoying it. Hope you're loving it. Hope you have a good time. Anyway, today we're going to talk about graphology and graphotherapy. And this is the study of handwriting. It's really interesting because you can tell a whole lot about somebody by their handwriting. You can tell if they're in a good mood, bad mood, characteristics, intentions, how they want to be seen, how they actually are, all kinds of things. All kinds of things. And the study of it is graphology. Graphotherapy is actually utilizing it to help you make change in your life, especially on the behavior level, because it is ideomotor. Writing is subconscious. Excuse me. And with graphotherapy, you intentionally start writing in a certain way, changing a letter, changing this, changing that, whatever, and eventually it becomes incorporated and it becomes a part of you. So let's say that you want to have more confidence, more self-esteem. On your T's, with a stem and the bar, look at your bars. They might be middle, maybe lower. Raise them up. Not always have a capital T. No, don't don't capitalize where it's not needed. That's a whole other thing. But just raise it up, that's how you feel comfortable. And start incorporating that before you know it, your self-esteem will naturally rise. And then from there, you can do other amazing things because you feel good about yourself. Something simple like that can change your life, right? Another few things about it, like let's go into a few things. When I look at a piece of paper, when I ask for a handwriting sample, there's a few things that come into play. One, it has to be blank paper, no lines. It has to be to me. It can't just be them writing about themselves. I ask them to write what they want to me, like tell me what you want. So it has to be like a communication writing. Not you can't look at your notes, at your personal notes, and try to read your. It doesn't work because you're only writing for yourself. You have your little spaces. You have your little symbols. You know how you take notes. You can't read those. It has to be a piece of paper, blank, in a communicative form, if that makes sense. Like I'd be writing to someone. Like I'm communicating. But the first things I look at are slants. And that's one of the easiest things to see is the slant of the letter. Is it like that? Is it leaning forward? Is it leaning backward? And this matters because the whole page itself is different zones of you. And there's upper, middle, lower quadrant. But as far as the page, on the right side of the page, that's other other, people, society, whatever. On the left, it's self, you. So you can see like introversion and extroversion in this. If the letter and the writing is forward to the right, then this person lean more to people or conversation going out, maybe extroverted. They're the one in the conversation leaning into a little bit, right? Maybe staying a little too close for your comfort. It happens to me. The second one, straight up, normal, okay, they're not really into it, they're not pulling back. That's kind of average what we see. The one going back, as in if the letters are slanting back to the left of the page, it means that they're probably in the conversation leaning back a little bit, got their arms crossed, maybe more defensive, but not defensive towards you. They're just naturally defensive or naturally, not really intuitive, but naturally, I can't find the word right now. You know what I'm trying to say. They're a little standoffish. There it is, a little standoffish. Now, the slants, if they get to the extremes, are a problem because the right is more heart, the left is more mind. So if I see writing and the slant is like that, that goes from extroversion to being impulsive. That's the one that's going to order everything on the infomercial or something like that. Too impulsive with the emotions. On the flip side, if it's on the left, really steeply on the left, that means that they're really guarding themselves. They pull the emotions in. And if it's at a certain angle, it could be a problem with the parents, an issue in childhood. And if it goes really far, that means they're really pulling themselves in. That might indicate past trauma. Just saying. The next thing I want to kind of go over with this is what the two things I look at really mean. And that means the body and the signature. The body of the page, the writing itself, that's ideomotor. That's where you're going to find all the details about the person. Extroversion, introversion, yada yada. Even injuries show up in writing, right? Prefaces. Anyway, the body of writing is the subconscious writing, because writing is ideomotor. It's completely subconscious. And the more you go down, the more you kind of fall into it. The more it becomes ideomotor, the more truth you'll find. And the signature is not how you actually are. The signature is how you want to be, because the signature is something you consciously just designed yourself, right? And that's how you want to be seen. That's how you present yourself. And there's a lot to learn with that too. But let's get into a few of the things that I look for and how it could, show up in your writing, show up in somebody's writing you know. I know nobody really writes anymore, but look at old Christmas cards or something like that. Dig them out. See what you see. You'll be amazed what you find. Excuse me. With the signature first. And I want to get this one out because this is one of the main ones I look for as a therapist. And I don't ask for hair my scales from everybody. It depends on how I want to look at it or how I want to conduct it. And the first one is the rifle through the head, or rifle bullet through the head. And this is very distinguished in graphology because Ernest Hemingway would sign his name and underline it. But then before he shot himself, he started underlining it and then crossing it out. So if you see a signature and the last letter of the name, the last loop or whatever, it goes back to the name. That means line through the name to self. It's possible suicidal tendencies. That's just with the signature. With the letters and the body itself, that can go anything from, like I said earlier, slants to something called the felon's claw, where if you see a U or anything with a Y or a G with a stem coming down, and it comes down and then kind of hooks to the left, back to self with the Y coming down, hooks back to the self. That's called the felon's claw. 80% of people in the prison system have this, and that's indication that you don't want to be around that person. Let's just put it that way. They have a tendency to do what they want in certain situations. Let's see. What else? I don't try to plan the videos too much because I find that I just kind of go off anyway. Let's see. Back to the page itself. Left is you, right is other. So what happens when you see a different baseline? And a baseline is like if I'm writing, is how the base of the letters are. So like R, U, just going across the line, or the bottom of the letters. If it is rising, then it is positive. Whatever they're writing is elevating their mood. If it is a negative thing, you'll see the word going down. So you can see this in a whole line of writing, which indicates something about the person, like how they naturally are all the time, or at least in this moment. Or you can see a elevated or declining word, and that tells you how they feel about the person or what they're writing about. If the subject, anyway. Like if somebody writes, "I love going to Dave's house," and if the whole line is fine, but Dave, the name is going up a little bit, like it's elevated, then thinking of this person is elevating their mood. You can see stuff like that. Jagged handwriting means that there could be something wrong with the nervous system. They're shaky. Heavy pressure on the paper could mean heavy emotions like anger, something like that. Big loops, like in a L, big old loop or whatever. Any loop that could be there, if it's large, then they're more suggestible, they're more open to people. If it's a very small loop, then they're more closed off. See how the letters translate to the behavior and behaviors to the letters? It's pretty cool. You can kind of get a feel for people just by their handwriting. Let's see. Yes. When you see a sample of writing, or when you look at writing, and there are spaces between the words, or big spaces between the words, that's you and other people. If there's big spaces between the words, they keep people at an arm's distance. The bigger the space, the more they push people away. Other ways true. The closer the words are, the closer you allow people to get to you. Or, that sounds kind of assassiny. No. The closer you let people get to you emotionally, connectivity, whatever. Pick the word. That's just a few things I want to go over today, guys. Just want to share this because I do use it in my therapy practice sometimes, and it's fun. You know, I can change myself as I wish with just using this. I can give people advice. Change this letter and watch your life improve. Craziness. Let's see. Oh, one more thing before I go. Cursive and print. Cursive is more flow, right? You got to flow with it to do it. Print is more cautious, more in control of what they're doing. And there's different things you can see with different kinds of writing. And I don't know if it's endless, but it's definitely more than I know on the subject right now, because I'm still learning about this. Even though I graduated from my school and I'm looking at other teachers and videos on this, there's so much to learn. But it's really interesting, and it's a really cool way to help people. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. A little long this week, 12 minutes. Hope you enjoyed it. You know, graphology, graphotherapy is really cool. Get into it. Look it up. See what's going on, because you might be able to be surprised what you see in your own writing. You might be surprised what you see in old Christmas cards or notes from your lover or whatever. You know, you can tell a lot about a person. And it might save you a lot of headache, because then you'll know which people to get rid of in your life, because trust the writing, not what the person says. That's just a general rule with graphology. All right, guys. Have a great week. Have a great month. Have a great holiday. Hope you enjoy the video. Take care.